Hi, folks. We are here at HAMACON 2011, and we are with a special guest,
Chris Cason.
And he has done stuff.
Yay, stuff.
Told he's some kind of voice actor.
He has done voice acting, ADR work, the whole shebang.
Yeah.
And so we decided that he'd be a pretty cool person to talk to, possibly even awesome. And as we are the Awesome Cast, it only made sense.
Well, I read the label on your mic. I mean, you know, as we discussed.
Yeah, our mic is ideal for podcasting. It says so right on the mic.
Ding.
So, Chris, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm a level-headed optimist who likes... Oh, you mean professionally? Well, I like stuff like... Well, I was about to go into food again. Stuff about me, I am a voice actor, director, and writer from working almost exclusively for Funimation Entertainment since 1998. And I began doing Dragon Ball Z, and I've worked on, maybe best known in terms of voice work, as Gluttony and Full Metal Alchemist, and Mr. Popo in Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Kai. Also Tien Shinhan in Dragon Ball Z, and Holy Roman Empire and Hetalia, and all kinds of stuff. And I've directed shows like Negama and Kodacha and Dragon Ball Z Uncut and Bamboo Blade and all kinds of stuff.
So what would be kind of the more interesting challenges do you have at being a voice actor?
The challenge is being, well, I guess like any acting job, it would be to keep it fresh. You know, I guess it would be to try to approach a character in a new, fresh way every time, make it different and subtle, and give 100%. Because even though it's a great and fun job, no matter what you do, whether it's painting a fence or digging ditches, no matter what it is, some days you come in and you're just not feeling it. But in the case of this work, you have to be on, quote unquote, on every time you get in front of the mic. So that would be one. At that and trying not to lose your voice when you're screaming for extended periods of time, like in Z, for example.
So to just suppose that, what are the more interesting challenges as an ADR director? And maybe for those who don't realize what ADR directing is, what is that?
Well, ADR directing, the ADR part it stands for Automated Dialogue Replacement, which is used was borrowed from movies where the actor would come in and a scene would be recorded, but the audio in the room was bad. So they would come in later and dub over what they said with what they said, and for a cleaner read for the final mix down. But in terms of anime, it's at Funimation. What I do as an ADR director is I direct English-speaking actors to come in and voice. That's right, in English, these properties from Japan. That's specifically what I do, and I cast different actors. I have them come in for me, and we schedule their time, and slowly but surely, one actor at a time, we put this big puzzle together called an animated property. So that's what I do. And as far as a challenge, I think like any kind of directing, whether it's film or stage or whatever, it's, you almost play psychiatrist or psychologist, I should say, in a way, because every actor requires something different to make them give their best performance. And it's figuring out what it is that makes them tick and giving the best performance, I would say.
So do you ever listen to the Japanese side of things for either voice acting or directing to see what was done before, or do you like taking things fresh, or does it depend on the property?
Sometimes it depends on the property. I know that now it's a lot easier to really be armed with as much information and research as possible. Whereas before, we had, with the interwebs, you can learn a whole lot, whereas before it was a lot harder. But we do, I guess every director is different. I do try to soak in as much as I can by watching the original Japanese, as much as possible.
Now, do you ever watch anime just on your own time, outside of work? Do you ever enjoy shows, or is it more or less when you do it for work?
Well, that's kind of the guy who works at a pizza shop doesn't go home and eat pizza scenario. Having said that, I worked at Chuck E. Cheese in high school, and I still ate the pizza for dinner. But that stuff was great. But I think when you're working on it from 10 to 6 or 10, however long you're doing it every day, I think when you come home, you tend just to want to relax from because you see it all day long. I think you want an escape from that, whether it's plays, movies, just some other form of entertainment. That said, I do have a lot of respect, and I like anime quite a bit. And it began when I was a kid. I watched Voltron, Robotech, GeForce Battle of the Planets, Star Blazers, and I didn't know that they were from Japan. I just thought they were extra super cool. And I only later found out they were from Japan. I thought, well, that makes a lot of sense. And full circle moment for me as a director was when, so I watched Star Blazers as a kid with a bowl of Fruit Loops in front of the TV, and then I would later go on to work on, or direct a few episodes of a show called Galaxy Railways from the creators. And I thought, I'm a part of this. It was really awesome. That was a great moment.
So, what are the things that you do kick back and just relax with and do for fun?
Well, I like playing music is my big thing. I play guitar since I was 13. I play electric bass a lot. A little piano, a little drums. I only know a few beats there, and basic chord progressions on the piano. But yeah, that's what I do for fun. And I'm really happy to have played on Guitar Hero 3 as a guitar player. That was a real thrill for me, and it was just a hobby. And then I was asked to do this thing, and it wasn't using my voice; it was something else that I did. So that was a really cool moment. I mean, video games themselves are great, and they're a lot of fun to be a part of, and to not use my voice and use something else that I like was a lot of fun.
Did you ever bug to jam with Jerry Jewell?
Actually, Jerry Jewell is a great musician and singer. He has that. He's both he can do both lead and he has an ear for harmony too, which is arguably harder for some people. He can zoom right into that harmony spot really quickly. I would love to play with Jerry Jewell, but you know what? There are a lot of musicians at Funimation, I think, or singers or both, and I think that there's something to that. I think having that musical ear or the ability to hear if something is the correct pitch or in tune, I think, and timing and rhythm, I think that all kind of folds into having a musical background. But to answer your question, I would love to play with Jerry Jewell. Anytime, Jerry.
Because he totally listens to this. Right, Jerry?
He might.
I don't know if he does or not, but...
What role have you had the most fun with that you've done?
Well, the cliched answer is, all of them. They're all my children, blah, blah, blah. And to a degree that's true because you do try to approach it like, fresh every time.
Right.
And of course, I, for a while, maybe even still, have the reputation of playing a lot of, as we call them, critters, playing a lot of animals, talking. I played a 7-inch talking ermine in Negama. I played a flying rabbit bat called Babbitt in Kodacha. I played Whitey, the dog, in Shin-Chan. And a lot of other creatures. And drag, you don't get to do, unlike 30-foot dragons, you don't get to do that in real life. So there's something very unique to anime when it comes to doing characters like that. I enjoy them all. I enjoyed Hanai and School Rumble quite a bit. That was maybe because it was just so funny. That whole show was so funny. Brina directed it so well. The cast was great, and I got to yell a lot, which I like. Mm-hmm. And that was a lot of fun.
Do you ever, since you also do both ADR work as well as voice acting work, have you ever thought, I want to approach a character this way, only for the ADR director to go, no. Let's do it this way. And he totally wanted to punch their face in because you knew better.
Oh, man. Well, that's a classic. I call that a number 73. That's a number 73. A number 73 happens a lot. It's kind of a, I don't want to call it a trap that people get into, but it's a phenomenon that happens a lot when you have, because typically the road to ADR directing is usually voice actor first, and then you get a feel for how things work, and you eventually can become an ADR director possibly. And it's happened where a voice actor or actress will become an ADR director, and then I'll have them in to direct them as an actor, and I find that they sometimes when they just began directing, they're most prone to saying stuff like, "Oh, I'll do that better. Let me do it one more time." No. I think I can totally. If you just, I think so. There's a lot of just like, it's a number 73 because they finally have seen both sides of it, And maybe part of it's just that they're their own worst critic. I know when I direct myself, if I'm directing a show and I'm an actor in the show, that's just me directing myself in the studio, and I'm my own worst critic, and it takes twice as long. So I understand that to a degree.
Okay, so what's number 36?
That is a large with a side of fries and a small milkshake.
Excellent. Which restaurant?
Well, any restaurant, because as you can see, once again, I'm a bit of a health nut, but occasionally I like to eat. And no, I refuse to give, I almost did it. I'm not going to give a fast food joint a free plug, but they're all delicious in their own way. More diplomacy from me.
Okay, what's a really wonderful local eatery that's in your town of residence?
Well, that would be Whataburger. That's very, very regional, very unique to the South. I don't know if it's just Texas, but definitely the South. And it's hamburgers that are made to order, and they have delicious. I can't believe I'm talking. Yes, I mean my mouth is watering. Now the reason I dare not bring this up is because very recently we've had In-N-Out Burger come to the DFW area, which of course was a West Coast burger joint that is now expanded east and gone to where I live, and so now there's the great Whataburger versus In-N-Out Burger rivalry. So I do not want to get in the middle of that. I want to play both sides of the fence because they're both delicious.
That is very, very understandable.
Yes.
What projects have you been have you been doing anything recently that you can talk about?
Well, there's the catch. Yes, and I can't, unfortunately. And particularly, I'm still very interested in anime, but also, video games are just exploding, particularly the production of them in LA right now. And I recently had the opportunity to voice a character that I'm very excited about. That game, I can't talk about the game or the character, but it comes out about this time next year. And I'm really excited about that. I also just voiced a really cool villain for a character, or a really cool villainous character in a show I also can't talk about. Probably the most recent things I've done that I can would be Genzo and Oedo Rocket, or maybe this character I did for an OVA called 2, capital T, capital O. But maybe that's all for now. That's too bad.
So which have you enjoyed more, at least as of late, voice acting or ADR?
Well, they're very different, and they each inform the other one. In other words, I think you become a better actor as a director and vice versa. I think, for me, it has to be, and it's neck and neck, but the winner will be voice acting. Because when you're a director, you're putting the puzzle together. You have all the responsibility. If it's good, you did it. If it's bad, you did it. In the case of voice acting, it's completely free. You walk in wearing whatever clothes you want to wear. You come up with the character. You work on it. The director kind of guides you how to do different things if you have any questions, and you're completely free. You're not encumbered with any deadlines or anything like that. So it's just, it's playing pretend. You can't get better than that.
This is going to be a totally off-the-wall question, and you may not have an answer, but nowadays simulcasting is getting bigger and bigger. It's happening with more and more shows, and Funimation is one of the people that are really leading the charge in that. Do you ever think there's going to be a point where, when a simulcast happens, a dub track will be available along with the subtitle track?
Ooh. I'm not sure. It's a really interesting time for the industry in general. You have, and I've talked about this before, where the output from Japan itself is less than it has been in many years for various reasons. And, the economy, of course, globally is not as great and all these other things. But I don't know. I think that would be, if that were possible, I think it would be incredibly awesome. And I really couldn't speak to that. Unfortunately, this might be one of those cases where it might seem like I'm maybe doing some kind of cover-up, like I actually know exactly the plan of the future, but I really have no idea. But I would support I think I would support that if it could happen, but I have no knowledge of it either way, guys.
It's sort of a pie in the sky thing that I have no clue. I'm sure that's something they want to work towards.
Oh, sure.
But,
Sounds like it would be problematic, especially if it's a weekly deal. But
well, it all would have to depend on the lead time and probably how much Funimation has put into the show themselves as a sponsor.
I'm sure if they just want to, I'm sure if they're sponsoring it, they'd love to get a dub track in there before anybody gets to watch it.
There's talk of I mean, not that I've heard anything from Funimation, but I've heard a lot of buzz about the idea that some dub houses, not necessarily Funimation, but whether it's going to different cons or just talking to people, I've heard the question over and over: will this dub company ever consider doing original Western, homegrown animation? Will they ever, fund the idea of coming up with an original story and then having that illustrated and, or I should say animated, and then dubbing it? And I haven't heard anything about that either, but I also really support that idea because I think it would be unique. I think it would be sort of groundbreaking in a way, and I just think it would be a really cool usage of these anime companies that, frankly, aren't getting as much work as they used to across the board based on the economy. So I'm all for it. And plus, I grew up watching. As I mentioned earlier, I grew up watching, though I grew up watching stuff like Star Blazers and G-Force and all that, I also I love Looney Tunes, and I love Tom and Jerry, and I love the stuff that we make here. I don't want to denigrate that stuff either. I mean, they were more for laughs than for heavy drama, obviously, but, they were really funny. I mean, whether Tom and Jerry, Looney Tunes, Animaniacs, I mean, I love that stuff. So, and that was made right here, so... I think we could use more of it.
If you could voice act Tom or Jerry, which one would it be?
It would be Tom, because Tom did that scream when every once in a while, and I can't do it. It's like trying to do the Wilhelm scream. Good luck. But right. But Tom's scream when he would get something slammed on his foot, or I mean I love that scream. And if I could try to recreate it in the studio, or maybe add my own whatever to it, I would love a chance to be Tom.
Yeah. Dodge the trick question, because it's really neither of them should talk, because they don't. But
well, that's true. And
except for that one movie that was horrible.
Well, and they did that. They made the Pink Panther talk, for example. As the Pink Panther went as the years progressed, eventually he started talking. Party foul. Terrible. I do not support animals who never spoke and were funny and classic, and then they try to change the formula, and I don't like that. But it is a trick question, but luckily, because Tom has to scream, that's enough for me. I think it's hilarious. And I also like the country cousin of Jerry's that comes in at the end.
Yeah. I think there could be some room for some new animation production. Just, maybe somebody who's not like Disney or Warner Brothers, just to maybe put some fresh ideas out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it would be good because we get asked all the time, have you guys done a lot of, original animation, meaning, American made animation? And, the answer typically is either no or not that much. And I wish that were a different answer because, I think we could use it.
Do you think that would... Do you think that could come from in-house like things like Funimation, or do you think it would still just be coming from like the main players like Cartoon Network, Nicktoons, Disney, Warner Brothers, that sort of stuff, or do you think one of the anime production companies would be able to sink that kind of capital into creating it, or would it be like more of a partnership, or like I'm not asking you to talk as Funimation or anything, but just your own personal musings on who do you think is capable of doing such a thing?
Well, if it were going to be done by an anime company, I mean, of course, yeah, as you said, this is all pie in the sky. I have no knowledge whatsoever of any of it, but I would imagine if it would be done by an anime company, it would be done by Funimation, only because they have, I mean, they're simply producing more dubs than any other house right now, meaning they may well have more funding to do so. That said, I think they would probably it seems like even still they would farm out, because just the man hours alone of animating. I mean, they don't have, obviously they don't have a subdivision of an in-house animation division. So I think it would take a lot of doing. I think it would take a lot of years of preparation. But it would make sense that they, at the very least, I think they would have the greatest opportunity in terms of cash flow to fund such a venture.
I'm sure there's some Japanese studios who'd be like, yeah, sure, give us money, we'll make you shows. I'm sure there's plenty.
Yeah.
You got the money, we got animators.
Yeah, really.
All right, well, I think now it's time to go for the hard-hitting, hardball questions, because we are a legitimate news source for everything awesome.
Since when? Oh, wait.
So it's time for the awesome... Well, this normally used to be the awesome 5, but I lost my 5 questions, and I'm too lazy to go back and figure out what they are. So this is going to be awesome whatever I come up with.
Oh, cool.
Or whatever I remember. So what I do remember for a fact was, it's what we start off every hard-boiled detective journalistic integrity question we've got. What is your favorite candy and or sweet?
Okay. I was hoping you'd ask me this. I like a lot of sweets. I'm not going to mince words here, guys. I like them for different reasons. That said, look, sometimes it's a Rolo day, sometimes it's a whatchamacallit day, sometimes it's a Twix day. Now, a lot of people are going to give you Snickers, and that's a cop-out. Snickers is delicious, but first off, I love chocolate bars. I do like that. I also like novelty stuff, like where it looks like you've got a huge tongue sticking out, but it's like sour. That didn't make sense. But just weird. I like weird sort of novelty candies, but at the end of the day, it's all about chocolate. And I'm going to go... I like Kit Kat, too. I'm going to go Twix on this. Caramel Twix, not the peanut butter, although it's good, too. I'm gonna say that for now. But, it may change by next year.
Okay, well, to get back to you on that. How do you take away stress? How do you deal with stress? What do you do to get rid of it?
I eat Twix. Well, how do I get rid of stress? Well, I mean, I think we mentioned it earlier, and I think part of the reason that playing music is my hobby is because it also offers a great deal of therapy, or it's very therapeutic. I don't sit around and stare out the window and pet an angry cat all day in a rocking chair or something creepy, although I suppose I could. But I sit and play music, and I'm going to start petting cats. I just inspired myself. What a weird thought.
Could be nice.
Could you pet cats while playing music?
I could use the cat as a pick.
They love that.
yeah, in the water. But yeah, I think playing music is therapeutic for me. And I'm also not, for whatever reason, I'm not a high-stress person. Some people are very intense, and I feel like I'm passionate about certain things, but I'm pretty even keel when it comes to most things, which maybe is a positive trait as a director. Because things can get pretty hectic.
What project that you have worked on in the past would most benefit from the inclusion of giant robots, or if they did have giant robots, gianter robots?
Wow, that's okay. Yeah,
that was the only one I remembered from the list. Oh, well.
Well, I worked on chrome-shelled Regios, and I had giant bugs that could fight giant robots. But always, it's a winner. Proven success. I think a show that would benefit most from giant robots that I've directed would be... That's good. By the way, anytime someone says to you, good question, that means I don't know. I've noticed.
Yeah, I use that at work all the time.
I think it might be funny, actually, if in Shin-Chan, or Shin-Chan, for those of you who say that, if one episode just was turned on its head and everything was goofy and light and filthy as usual, and then they were just attacked by actual giant robots. I would like to see Shin do the elephant dance. I'd like to see Whitey save the day. I'd like to have, anytime you have such a ridiculous show like that, I would love for hardcore robots to come in and just start annihilating their little happy town. So I'd like that.
All right, then.
Did I just say happy town? Okay.
Well, yeah.
Finally, if you could leave one message to the world on a podcast, what would that be?
I like the caveat of on a podcast. Like, if I saw you on the street, I would say something totally different.
But it's not a podcast, so.
Oh. Okay. I would say never give up. It's a cliche, it's corny, but I would really say never give up. Because whatever you have a passion for, whatever it is you want to do, you're probably good at it. If for no other reason than you have a great passion for it. If you're driven and motivated by something, I would say never give up.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. And I think that'll wrap things up. I can't.
I mean, it'll do.
Never give up, but we're gonna give up
Never
now.
give up.
You gave up.
Crap!
Oh.
We have to keep going. Quick. What's another question?
I know this podcast will go on forever. We can never give up.
What's your favorite rodent?
I like the ermine. I played one. He smokes and he liked panties.
Works for me. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now that we have asked one last question,
Cool.
Now we can end this.
Well, yeah, we really need to know the rodent thing.
That's true.
Cigars, panties.
I made.
Yeah.
Right, and we're all in the clear, guys. We did not give up on this. That's right.
We did give up.
No.
We didn't give up.
This is a tactical surrender. For another interview in the future, perhaps it'll be Chris, perhaps it'll be somebody else, perhaps it'll be something completely different, not an interview, but chances are it'll be something. Thank you, and good night, or day, depending on when you're listening to this.